Ian, welcome and thank you for being here with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me, so to speak.
What have been the key focus areas for SuperChoice in the last 2 years?
We've been responding to industry regulatory change. So that's been the main driver of what we've been doing, but it's led a substantial transformation within the organisation. And what I mean by that is we've redeveloped our core platform to respond to the industry requirements. We've changed the way we develop that platform. We've tried to change the culture to be a lot more orientated towards software as a service type of service delivery. And then more recently, we've really fundamentally tried to reshape our infrastructure so as to not only enable us, but to support us moving forward.
What do you see are the key challenges for corporates following a multi-cloud strategy?
I think we've been a little bit lucky in that the industry change drove us to redevelop our core platform, and so we've been able to piggyback off that process. I think the challenge for large corporates is they're not going to have that luxury. They're going to have a legacy environment that they really need to work through. Now, I think one of the interesting things that we did, and it was driven by the necessity of the dedicated test environment for our client, was many people start by deploying their newest apps as being the most cloud ready, whereas we actually did the opposite. We took our core legacy system that was built, probably started to get built 17 years ago, and we've deployed that to the cloud. Like, we've had that running in AWS, we've had that running in a private cloud facility. We can move it between the two. Unusual way of going about it, but if there's anything, if I was a large corporate organisation, if anything I draw out of that is you can actually go through this process with legacy app and still get value out of it and still have the same sort of process that you'd have as if it was a new sort of more cloud ready application.
If you can do it with that, you can do it with anything, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I was talking to our guys about it the other day, and they sort of said, like, that's not the way you do it necessarily, but there is a line of thought that often says if you're trying something out, go with the hardest thing, because that's going to identify all the issues. And certainly that's part of the value that we got out of that exercise. It surfaced for the project team all the key issues, but the other thing was when we actually went back to the organisation and we said, hey guys, do you realise we've just deployed our legacy app into AWS, it's working, and we can have that up and running in just under an hour. The amazement on the look on some of the faces was just priceless, including, you know, our CEO, who sort of said, are you serious? We've actually done that. So I think that did a lot to boost people's confidence about the direction we were taking and the fact that it can work.
And now you've got great flexibility, because not only will it work in AWS, but you can then port that to any major cloud.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, we raised earlier the issue on the weekend with AWS, but equally it wasn't that long ago when Azure announced over a weekend they were changing their prices by 27%. Right. So, you know, the advantage for us is we have the ability, the flexibility to move around as price or capability requires.
Yes, and you can keep getting best of breed from any cloud, no matter how the cloud landscape changes over time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Great. Well, Ian, really appreciate your time today. Great interview, and thanks so much for your time.
No, I was happy to be here.
Thank you.